Hello peeps, and welcome to Dwarf Fortress! Haha! Yeah, I bet a few of you at least saw this coming. So, we are going to be playing some Dwarf Fortress. We're on version 0.43.05. And, well, Slaves to Armok, God of Blood, Chapter 2, Dwarf Fortress, Histories of Avarice and Tenacity. Now, you can see I've got DF Hack up in the corner. I am playing with the Lazy Noob Pack. I will go ahead and link the topic that the Lazy Noob Pack is available in the description of this first video. Now, I am not running anything on the Lazy Noob Pack except for the performance tweaks. And what else do I have running? Let me look real quick. I've got the performance tweaks. Where is my Lazy Noob Pack launcher? There it is. Performance tweaks and enhanced gameplay. Enhanced gameplay allows human merchants to show up, whereas normally they won't show up. And it also allows the elves to be whiny little pricks about lumber quotas. So I get to tell them to shove it straight up their pale shaven asses. In properly dwarven fashion. So, let's go ahead and get going. Now, I've already created a world. I've created a medium-sized world with medium number of sites, a medium history, a large number of beasts, a large natural savagery, and frequent minerals. Not everywhere, but frequent. So, Orosmolo, Region 1. Dwarf Fort. Now, I am not playing this in the original ASCII. I am playing it with the Phoebus icon pack. So, I do have very rudimentary graphics. We'll go ahead and start looking around and see if we can find a good place to settle. Now, whenever I start a new world in Dwarf Fortress, the first thing I always do is I look for the obligatory volcano. There it is. There's the volcano. Holy crap. That's actually... This might actually be in a good place. Another thing that I am doing is I am playing with aquifers off for my first game. Because aquifers are a pain in the ass, and I don't feel like dealing with it right now. So let's take a look around this volcano and see what we've got here. We've got 3 different biomes overlapping. So the first one, we have clay, sand, very deep soil, shallow metals, deep metals, and a flux stone. This sound sense is a little bit too loud. Let me turn sound sense down just a little. That should be good. Okay, that's a temperate grassland, so sparse trees and untamed wilds for the surroundings. That's a coniferous forest with shallow metals, deep metals, and flux stone. Heavily forested. And the third is the responsible hills. Huh. So I have access to flux. I have access to lava because I've got a volcano right nearby. If I get a sedimentary layer here and get any sort of iron, this is an amazing site. Now, before we decide for sure, let's go ahead and change our mode with the tab key. Oh, we're at war with the elves. But there's no goblins here. Damn. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that because without goblins or kobolds nearby, this is going to be a boring fort because the elves are not going to be a huge threat. As nice as it would be to have a volcano embark, we're gonna skip it. Okay, we've got goblins up here. We've also got elves, but we're not at war yet. Up here, we've got... Yeah, it looks like we've got goblins everywhere except for the southern continent. And then even over here we've got the goblins. The goblins just can't reach over this far. Looks like the goblin civilization's longest reach is this peninsula, or this strait right here. What about down here? That's just dwarves, so that would be a very boring embark. Ooh, there's a tower right there. I'm not sure I want to deal with a tower. Not on my first playthrough. Maybe in a future fort. Okay, let's go ahead and switch back. Is there only one dwarven civilization? There's only one dwarven civilization still alive. Holy crap, that's not good. Oh well, whatever. So, let's go ahead and take a look around. Scorching temperatures, we don't want that. I may need to come down further to the south just to escape the extreme temperatures. No, I can go over here to the east. And that gets me away from the extremes. Let's see here. That puts me in war with the elves, which I'm not worried about. It'll be a bitch in the early game, because elves are actually decent trading partners in the early game. Surrounding joyous wilds. That means that there's like no natural savagery. Or no, it means that there's natural savagery, but there's no evil. At all. So. Which I'm not sure how that's the case, since there's a tower nearby. Okay, let's check out... No, because that puts me back into hot temperatures. This puts me into warm temperatures, so I can do this. That puts me into very flat land, which I normally like. Sparse trees, though. Scarce and sparse. A grassland, a rocky wasteland. Not loving that. Now we're back into the scorching temperatures. Now we're back into an area without goblins. I don't want an area without goblins. Let's try to avoid anything like too evil. There's some extreme hills, and it looks like there's a river that flows right through there. Let's aim for somewhere like right around here. Let's see, that only puts me in one biome though. I usually like to have access to at least 2 biomes. There we go. That gives me a good... It gives me a woodland area on about a quarter of my map, which is nice. It gives me access to a brook. I've got clay in one of them, and I've got shallow metals, deep metals, and fluxstone in both, with sand in both, so I can make glass. A savanna and a shrubland. Temperate temperatures, so it will freeze in the winter. Moderate vegetation. I do have to deal with the goblins, but that's not that big a deal. Or the elves, not a big deal. I do have a lot of cliffs in this area, so I have a lot of room to work. I think this is it. I think this is where we're going to call home. So, we are going to embark. We are obviously going to prepare for the journey carefully. Now, before, when I played this, I would go through and I would remove a whole bunch of items from here, and then I would go back through and I would like max out a crap load of skills on all of my dwarves, and then I would come back and I would buy stuff. Now, I'm still going to take a lot of the stuff off of here. Just because a lot of the stuff you don't need to start, and it uses up a lot of points. You don't need 2 battle axes to start, you only need 1. 2 picks is not a bad idea. We don't need dimple cups because that is used for absolutely nothing except for dyeing clothing, and we're not going to be doing a clothing industry, at least not early. We may get into it later. We don't need cow leather quivers because we don't have a crossbow yet, so we'll get rid of those. Having buckets is not a bad idea, but I don't think we need them right now because we can easily carve buckets out of wood. That's 10 points I could spend on something else. Ropes, bags, cloth, and thread I am going to take. Now, we will need to add some dwarven wine. So, we'll go down to drinks, dwarven wine. We'll go ahead and add 20 units of that. Now, okay, what's with the comedy music in the background? Really? Okay, whatever. Okay, this is actually distracting as hell. Let's kill that song. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and give my peasants some skills. However, I'm not going to go through and absolutely max them the hell out. What I am going to do, I'm going to have 1 miner who's going to be good at it. And that's going to be his only skill. My second one, I'm going to have you be a woodcutter for 3 points and a carpenter for 3 points. And building designer. So he is my building dwarf. And actually, I only really need 2 points in each one. That'll save me some points to go elsewhere. My third dwarf, I'm going to have a mason. And let's see, you're also going to be a furnace operator and a wood burner. My next one is going to be an armor smith. Or no, he's going to be a weaponsmith. We're going to give him a couple of points in weaponsmith. How many points do I want in weaponsmith? Probably not too many, because he's not going to be doing it a lot early. Instead, we're going to take 5 points in mechanic. I want to have someone who's a really good mechanic. I'm going to need someone to do my growing for me. So you are going to be a grower. And you're also going to be... let's see. Because he's probably going to be spending most of his time handling that. So he doesn't really need a secondary skill, I don't think. So we'll leave him just as a grower. The next guy is going to be a brewer. I'm going to set him up as a proficient brewer, just to get high quality booze fast. I'm also going to give him a couple of points in cooking. And we're going to give him a couple of points in butchering too. Yeah, we'll go with that. And my last one is going to be... he's going to be kind of an all-purpose dwarf. He is going to be 1 point in all of the medical, or all of the doctoring skills. He's also going to be 1 point in appraiser, judgmentant, negotiator, persuader, and let's see. Could go flatterer. Yeah, we'll give him a point in flatterer. Not consoler, flatterer. There we go. He's going to be my diplomatic dwarf. He's my politician, who also just happens to be a doctor. Alright, that's going to leave me with 364 points. Now, I brought a dwarf who is capable of weaponsmithing for a reason. I'm going to remove the copper picks and the copper battle axe because I'm going to bring along some stuff and I'm going to forge stuff on site to get my work going. I will need to bring along a little bit of wood in order to get started. And I'll need to bring along probably some charcoal or some coal or lignite or something. So, plum helmet spawn. I'm going to increase that to 25. And the other crops I'm going to increase to 15. Seeds are cheap. Let's see, cave lobster. Plump helmets, I'm not going to bring along a whole bunch of plump helmets just because they are expensive, and you don't really need a whole lot. Thread, I only need like 2. Cloth, I'm going to bring along the full 5. Bags, I only need like 2. Ropes, I only need 2. We need the anvil. Without the anvil, you can't make anything metal, including an anvil, which means you have to trade for your first anvil, which is a pain in the ass. We're going to bring along a war dog. We're also going to bring along 2 cats. I know what you're thinking. Ha, 2 cat. No, you can geld animals now. So I will be able to stop them from causing the cat explosion. Let's see. We're also going to bring along some turkeys. As soon as I find them. There we go. We're going to bring along 3 turkey hens and a turkey gobbler. And I think that's going to be it for livestock. I'll get 2 pack animals for free. Hi, kitty. I'll get 2 pack animals for free just for embarking. So I've got 559 points with which to work with other stuff. Let's go ahead and go to new. Digging implements. I could just bring along the picks and make it a little easier on myself, but I kind of like the added challenge of having to get started on my own. Hi, Fifi. Hi, kitty. Okay. We're going to bring along some leather. We're going to bring along 5 pieces of leather. Just because sometimes you get an early mood, and having access to leather is a huge benefit. Same with cloth. I'm going to bring along some silk cloth because sometimes they'll want silk cloth instead of... yeah. We're also going to bring along some yarn cloth because sometimes they'll want that. Stone. I need to bring along some sort of building stone. I'm going to start with 10 units of granite. That'll give me enough to build a few early buildings, workshops and such. And we're going to see what other kinds of stone we can get. With any luck, I will find lignite or bituminous coal. That's what I wanted. We'll bring along 10 units of bituminous coal. That'll let me get coal coke to run my forge early. I have to remember I can't use some of my shortcut keys because I normally use the page up, page down keys here, but I can't because I have page up bound to start recording. So if I try to use it, it's going to stop my recording. Tetrahedrites. We're going to bring along 10 tetrahedrite. That's going to use a lot of money. No, we'll bring along 5 tetrahedrite. That's going to be fine. 5 tetrahedrite to get started. Tetrahedrite smelts into copper, and it also has a chance of giving you silver. And if you get silver early, you can make a silver mace or a silver warhammer, and that is a very, very effective bashing weapon to put in the hands of an early soldier. But the copper will allow me to make my first tools. Now, let's page down and see what else we have here. Sand and glass. I don't really need to bring any of this because I will have access to both sand and glass there. It'll take a little bit of infrastructure to get glass going, but I'll have access to it. Same with clay. I'll have it there. Trap components, I never bring any of this kind of stuff along because it's all a waste of time. Cheese, I don't take on Embark, but I do trade for it. Powder, though, I am going to want to bring some gypsum plaster. Just in case I can't get access to it somewhere else. And it's cheap, so you may as well bring it. That's for making casts if one of my dwarves gets injured. Let's see, extracts, no. Crafts, no. Toys, no. Instruments, tools, cages, barrels, I don't worry about. Buckets, cups, and mugs, it's easy enough to craft mugs on site. Flasks, no. Quivers, whatever. Backpacks, bags, don't need any of those. Silk. I'm going to bring along some threads of a few different types. We're only going to need a little bit of it though, so we'll bring along some sheep wool yarn too. Splints, crutches, you can make these on site. Miscellaneous. Charcoal or coke costs you 10 units to bring along, whereas bituminous coal only costs you 3 and smelts into multiple pieces of coke. So why would you bring it? I am going to need to bring some wood in order to stoke that first fire. So, we're going to bring along some, let's see, what do we got that looks good? Kapok. From the charcoal forests. We'll bring along 20 kapok logs. That'll be plenty to handle any sort of early building that I need to get beds up and all of that. This leaves me with 245 points to spend on other stuff. So, let's go back over to my dwarves and we'll see if I can round out any of my dwarves with some extra skills. You are woodcutter, carpenter, and building designer. You are mason, furnace operator, and wood burner. You are weaponsmith and mechanic. I could boost your armor smithing a little bit, but I don't think I need to. You're my full-time grower. You're my brewer and my cook. Yeah, I don't need anything for that. So, we'll come up here and we'll start rounding out my supplies. We're going to bring along a total of 40 of each type of booze. Dwarves run on alcohol. If you run out of alcohol, your fort comes to a crawling stop. So it's always good to make sure you've got plenty of alcohol. You can pretty much never go wrong by adding more alcohol. Same with food. You can pretty much never go wrong adding more food. Now, one thing that you can do, if you want to be like completely min-maxing about this crap, is you can come in here and you can pick and take along one of every type of 2-point food, because you will get a free barrel for every type of food that you bring. However, that's not such a big deal anymore with the advent of rock pots. It used to be that you had to have barrels to store anything, to store food, to store seeds that were in bags, to store booze especially. You had to have barrels, and you had to have a constant supply of wood coming in order to make more barrels, because barrels would get used up, and if you ran out of wood, you ran out of ability to make barrels, which means you couldn't make anything else. If you ran out of booze because all of your barrels were being used by food, you couldn't make booze, because you didn't have any barrels, you didn't have any wood, and your dwarves would get progressively more pissed off and incoming tantrum spiral. Now, as long as you've got rock, you can carve pots, and you can store booze and food in those rock pots, and everyone will be perfectly happy doing it. So, no more worries with that. So I normally don't do the min-maxing crap. I will pick one sort of food, and I don't bother bringing eggs because you can always get eggs. But I will usually pick like a vegetable. Strawberries. We'll take along some strawberries. And we're going to burn up all of my points bringing along strawberries, because we can brew those into strawberry wine too. Give me a little bit of variety. And then we'll pop one more point into Plum Helmet Spawn. So, gives me a War Dog for early defense. Gives me a couple of cats for establishing both pest control and an early food and leather industry if I feel like it. Yes, as much as I love cats, I have absolutely no problem turning them into leather in Dwarf Fortress. Don't judge. I have turkeys for eggs, and I can hatch more turkeys, and then we can have wonderful turkey dinners. I have enough coal and assorted stone and copper to get my first tools going. I have a good supply of early crafting material. I've got emergency supplies, and I've got my anvil. That's the most important things. So, let's go ahead and name the fort. We're going to go with random names until we get something that sounds good. Flag lobster. Wire cut. That actually sounds kind of awesome. Craft stabs. Taken labors. Rock sizzles. Let's see. Come on, give me something that's like screams out, you must do this. Mirror daggers. Tempted to go with that because it's my name, but Spearworks. We'll go with Spearworks. That sounds good to me. Okay, and we'll name the group the Pick of Hatchets. How about no? The Slick Silvers. The Fences of Gold. Oh, I like that. We're going to go with the Fences of Gold as the name of my group. And we can make our own symbol. Now, let's see here. Well, I mean, I could go with... there's no way to randomize this. I wish you could randomize this. So, I'm not gonna... Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with the symbol. That's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. Alright. Prepare for the journey to Locum Dusim. Let's get ready. Go ahead and we hit the E button. Strike the earth. One of these days when it catches up.
Did you know that 9 out of every 10 embarkments end in complete disaster? I can't wait to see what awaits us here.
9 out of every 10, huh? You fool! This is Dwarf Fortress! 10 out of 10 ends in complete disaster. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Sobirmos. Sobirmos. It has the word sober in it. No wonder the dwarven civilizations are dying. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it's spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the yetis get hungry. Oh shit, there's yetis. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Locum Dusim, a spear works. Strike the earth. Alright, let's see what kind of crap I'm dealing with. First of all, we're going to pause. Next, we're going to check the unit list. Giant crows. They sent me with a stray 2-humped camel and a stray horse. Giant crows, I really hope are not thieves, because that's going to suck. And I'm going to be really irked. Let's take a look around, see what I've got. That's clay wall. That is peat. And that is, of course, red sand. That is silty clay loam. Can I get a good look at what kind of rock I'm dealing with? Because that's kind of important to know. I don't think I'm going to get a good look at that, unfortunately. Because that's clay. Chert. Looks like chert. Okay, I've got lots of willow trees out here. It looks like this is actually probably the level I'm going to want to embark on. Let's take a look around for a couple of features that I like to have on my embark level. One of which is a nice edge that I can use for my trade caravan, which I don't have, unfortunately. If I go up a level, will I get it? No. Up another level gives me access to yellow sand, but still nothing, still no cul-de-sac for the trade caravan. Well, I could make this work, I think. Possibly. Maybe. Siltstone. Siltstone is, if I remember correctly, a sedimentary. So I might actually have a chance of finding iron here. Go up to the top of the peak. That looks like about the top, so. Too far down. Come back up to this level. So that's the level my dwarves are on. Alright. Let's... I'm thinking, for my initial entrance, I've got a nice area right here, where it's flat. I can easily put a wall in to get this isolated early. Yeah, this is where we're going to go for that. How tall are those trees? Pretty tall. Damn. Okay, so we're going to build a workshop, and we need a masons, which we'll put right there. Make it out of granite. We're going to need a carpenter's workshop, which we'll put right next to that. We're going to need, let's see, we're going to need a metalsmith's forge, which we'll put right there. We're going to need some furnaces. We'll need a wood furnace to make one piece of charcoal. And we'll need a smelter to smelt our bars and make our bituminous coal into coal coke. So, we will go ahead and unpause for the moment, and we'll let my dwarves go about their business. Some of them aren't going to have much to do to start out. Like, they'll go ahead and start getting this stuff put together. I can go ahead and... Well, I could start making doors and such, but I don't have access to anything except for my initial granite yet, so we're going to hold off on that. Now, I could also start making beds right now, because my carpenter's workshop is done. But I want to make sure that these other things get done first, and my carpenter is also my architect. So I need to wait for him to finish the smelter. As soon as he finishes the smelter, then we're good. Okay, that's designed and it needs masonry. So, I'm going to go ahead and get my carpenter making 8 beds. In the wood furnace that is almost done, we're going to make 1 unit of charcoal. Burn it up. Okay, I've got a unit of charcoal. So, we're going to make coke from bituminous coal. We're going to do that 4 times. That'll give me plenty of coal to work with. Now, it might cancel when I first get going here, just because the coke might get assigned. No, it's not going to, because I don't have a stockpile for it yet. So, we're good with that. Let's make sure that those stupid crows are staying away and minding their own business. Looks like it so far, because I haven't gotten any combat reports. Then after that's done, we're going to smelt tetrahedrite ore. We're going to do that 3 times. Oh, and it's raining. Of course it would be raining. But at least my dwarves are happy. Look down, my happiness right now is I have 2 who are in very good spirits and 5 who are ecstatic. Okay, now we're smelting tetrahedrite ore. So this, if I take a look at... Let's see here. T. There we go. I've got a lot of coke in this building. A lot of coke in this building. Holy freak, I've got a lot of coke in this building. I don't remember bituminous coal making that much coal coke. Okay, I've got 4 copper bars. Nice. We are going to make copper pick. 2 of them. We're also going to make a copper battle axe. So we'll grab some copper bars, we'll grab some coke, and we'll start crafting. And as soon as he starts moving again, that means my pick is done, which means I can start delving out lodgings. Let's go ahead and designate that to be cleared. We're going to dig into the sand to give us a nice flat area. And we're going to remove the ramps from right around the entrance. There we go. My miner will run down, grab his pick, and he will come down here and get to work. Cancels remove inappropriate dig spot. Well, that's because you removed the ramp that was holding the ramps before you removed the ramps. Now I do see that I could do that. We'll go ahead and clear that out and get that a nice flat section. And now we're going to dig the main entrance. Which I'm going to make a nice big room. Because this is going to be, it's not only going to be a common room for the early part of the game, but it's also going to be eventually probably my barracks or one of my training facilities. And I am probably going to want to go through and put a floor in here, like an actual stone floor, just so that my dwarves aren't treading around in the sand and the peat. Might actually go through and shore up the walls, make them some nice walls. If I find some marble, which I'm assuming marble is going to be my flux stone, because siltstone and chert are not fluxes. And it looks like that's what's on the top layer. So I'm assuming it's going to be a marble layer further down. It's going to be my source of flux. Which means I'll be able to make nice marble walls and marble statues. And yeah, this fort is already shaping up to be pretty nice. It's going to be even nicer if we find a native source of bituminous coal. It's going to be amazing if we can find iron on this map. But we'll have to see if we can do that next time, because it's time for this episode to end. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 1 of Dwarf Fortress with Night Dagger. Hopefully you guys are excited about this new series. I know I am. And we'll be looking forward to this taking the place of OnLink for at least the next little while. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you later, peeps.